to the bathroom. Like she had got linked up with like one of the oldest ones.
Ooh.
And she had like,
oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Bro, I was pushing, but that's
Man.
left him in the tub or something. You wouldn't keep hunching on me.
Man, I don't even them cults, man. I don't even understand. Like you got to be, and not to say, because I know people get caught up in some people that probably get caught up in some cults, man. But them, at what point, like, shouldn't it be a point where it's something just be stupid? And they ask you to do it, and you just be like, "Nah, man, I ain't finna do that." You know what I'm saying? Like the whole Jim Jones thing.
You know what? You trying to put that? Well,
yeah, the whole Jim
got them
Jones
saggy
thing.
balls.
Okay, let it be known. I'm working hard when I ain't on the phone. This ain't a home, this ain't a phone. Grind never stopping, I'm keeping it cold. Unlocking the door with the holy key. You supposed to be this close to me, and hopefully you understand G.O.D.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is me, Rob, with Tony and Jarvis.
What's happening?
so
The other half of the crew, they just decided to just stay out on us.
I don't know.
It seems like every week we just lose them.
You know what I'm saying?
don't do that.
Unlearning religion. They unlearning us or something.
Jarvis, you got on their nerve.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is, man.
Jarvis.
I repent, y'all. Y'all come on back, man. Y'all come on back.
Well, listen, everybody, we got a show for y'all today. And basically, all right, so, fam, I was about like 16 or 17, right? Mm. And I showed up at Bible study. It was really before I was saved. I showed up at Bible study, and I got this book, right? Mm-hmm. And the book was called "I Kissed Dating Goodbye." Okay. Now here I am, you know what I'm saying, getting to that point in my life where, like, them insides is telling me that I need to go ahead and fulfill some of these desires. You know what I'm saying? And I get this book called I Kissed Dating Goodbye. I said, what is this? It's by a guy named Joshua Harris. And we went through it in our teen Bible study, just talking about how, like, Christians should not date. Like, you go out as friends and stuff like that, but you do not date. You do not kiss. You do not hold hands. When y'all go out as a group of people and all this stuff, right? So we read this book, and I mean, it was trash. Like it was like trying to conform to something that just didn't necessarily feel natural, right? Mm-hmm. So here we are. Fast forward to 2019. The writer of the book, now he sold 1.2 million copies.
Got a bag.
I'm gonna put it out there.
Got a bag. New York Times bestseller and everything, right? He wrote this book when he was 21. He says he's rethought this now. He reshaped his whole idea about that. He's a father with 3 kids, just went through a divorce, and now he said he is no longer a Christian. Now,
You throw the whole faith away.
throw the whole faith away. Now, my question is this. Do we feel like, well, number one, do you think that book actually contributed to him to actually not, being a believer anymore? Mm-hmm. Because one thing I know for sure is you spend a few years in this lifetime, you realize that the things you used to believe when you was 20
Yes, sir.
totally is different when you're 40.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So the topic of the day, for those that don't know, is we're examining purity culture. What is purity culture? Is that something that's real? Like, do we need to follow things like that book and others?
Yeah.
Because obviously, see, with this guy right here, he got a bag, but then, 20 years later, he was like, nah, that wasn't it. You know what I'm saying? But now how many people have you affected with this 1.2 million, which we know is probably a whole lot more?
I wonder, did he write the book when he was single, like, and virgin?
He was single. He was single in 21.
Why black people say virgin? A virgin?
What was it?
You
I
said-
said it wrong.
Did you say
Black-
virgin or
But no,
virgin?
black people always be like virgin.
That's what we do.
Oh, like virgin?
Like, yeah, but it's virgin. But you're saying a word, but it always come out. Yeah, he a virgin.
I thought it was McCushy Twang. I don't know. Unsexed. He was unsexed.
Yeah, it said it was in 1997. He wrote the book. He was 21 years old.
Oh, he wrote a book at 21
Yeah.
about life.
yeah.
Man, throw the whole thing away,
Its
bro.
basic premise was that the best way to avoid premarital sex was to stop dating altogether. Dating was a game, it hurt people, and it was practice for divorce and a distraction for preparing for life. If you trusted God, He'll provide the right person at the right time. That was the whole premise of it.
Yep, that's the reason why we got this title called Unlearning Religion, because
Yeah.
that strictly sound like something he had to unlearn, man. I'm not saying it's the same, and y'all seen it was a clip that Mike Todd had about dating in his book. He had, I guess, one of his recent books he had wrote. Man, if we can find, I'm gonna find that clip and see if we can kind of insert it in this episode. But it was something about I ain't gonna say it necessarily down this lane all the way through. You know what I'm saying? But it was kind of like basically he almost kind of was like it was like dating and you practicing.
Breaking up.
Breaking up. You heard, you know what I'm talking about? Go ahead. I might be saying
haven't
it
read
wrong.
the book, but I've tuned in on some of the interviews, and that's exactly what he's saying. Like dating, you being with somebody, then it don't work out, and you break up. So you're setting in motion this habit of like when things don't work out, you bail, you ditch the situation.
Yeah.
But see, when I grew up, they taught me
Okay.
courting.
Yeah.
So I never went into my situations like, oh, this is gonna be my boyfriend and that's it. Like I always like, oh my God, I want to be married. I want to have kids. Like,
She bought the lie.
but I bought the lie, bro, and I was depressed as hell when I went to school. Because that's what good Christian girls do. They go to school, they go to a Christian school, and they find them a nice little preacher. So 21 ring came around, and I'm like, nigga, what my ring at? And it wasn't no ring. So, that just threw me off. So, but yeah, in the church, in the evangelical church, they teach courting. So we friends until you until you making a decision. You at an age where like, oh, well, I want to explore it. This can be the person. Like I like her people. She cute. I like how she, she involved in the church and all that type of stuff. All that junk is a trap.
Yeah.
It's a trap.
And I mean, like, I guess it's
like
there.
arranged.
Yeah, but I think, I guess in their attempt to, it's almost like man's way of trying to get to God. Like, my attempt to is, I see that y'all got all this stuff going on in the world, and X, Y, Z, and all these songs that they singing about sex. We need to build something pure. Keep your mind pure. Knowing good and well your mind, you don't know if the person's mind is pure at all. You can fake this all the way through.
But that's the downside of purity culture because it focuses on the physical aspect of it, and it's not really teaching you purity of mind and spirit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So now you ain't hunching, but you watching porn.
Yeah. Man, you that in a long time.
If that ain't country, I don't know what it is. Hunching.
If you ain't doing that, you watching porn. You know what I'm saying? Or you romanticizing and going a little further than crushing on a dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you doing all this other stuff, and then it's like it's so backwards because like the church, especially like our age group. I don't know if what's the generation before mine?
Me?
X?
Yeah. I don't know if y'all did them lock-ins and them.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Yeah. So, but you set up these situations where you got all these kids going, it's like a complete avoidance of what is natural.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And instead of helping kids navigate that this is what this feeling is, you know what I'm saying? You try to get them to suppress it. So then you got little Ray Ray on the internet and everything popping up, you know what I'm saying? And then when you catch little Ray Ray on the internet, you want to beat him. That's what you doing in it. Did you see that video?
There's a few about
that mama caught the little boy. He was like, "No, I made a mistake. I caught a virus." I'm like, and she's like, "Well, Billy, why are your pants down?" I stood up in shock. My pants went down. So now they gotta hide it because the relationship to discuss what is real and natural. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't talking about it. Or they get turned on by some stuff that's like unnatural. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
It's to me, it's counterproductive. Like, even when you say that you shouldn't date, like, so I don't even know in my mind if I like this person or not. Like, in that way, if I always have to turn off like my feelings, you know what I'm saying? Like, then I'm trying to work around, like, or trying to figure out if I really like a person or not. Ain't nobody saying that you got to go and, you know, have sex and all stuff like that. But I feel like when you open yourself up to dating, you open yourself to understanding what feelings are. Feelings are real. Like, when you start suppressing feelings, then I think you're actually getting to a place where you could be depressed, right? Because you have this feeling, you don't know how to deal with it. Everybody that you try to reach out to is telling you that you shouldn't have them feelings. And so now you feel like something's weird with you because you got these feelings. And then you might go way left because you say, you know what, at the end of the day, don't nobody have these feelings except me, blah, blah, blah. But nobody think about what happened when they was in their teens and when they was, you know, nobody think about that. Everybody try to push that under the rug. And when you push that under the rug, you feel like, well, I'm just not going to deal with it or whatever. No, you have a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on. You'll find out kids are having sex at 11, 12 years old. Before you even think about them having sex, they're already having sex because you've already put that in there. And I got a 7 or about to be 7-year-old daughter. And I look at her all the time trying to figure out, like, how am I going to have this conversation with her? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to have it to where she feels like nobody understands her. You know, I want her to remain 7 forever because she ain't gonna have them feelings. But I know that ain't life, right? But I that's what I feel. I feel like when you teach people not to date, it's actually counterproductive.
I don't think we properly prepare young people or just people period on how to just interact with the opposite sex. You know what I'm saying? Like, we from a young age go into that teaching those gender roles. You know what I'm saying? So, like, with purity culture, from my perspective, it focuses on the girl. You stay pure. You stay clean. You know, submissive. You know, you're gonna be submissive to your husband. Blah blah blah. It's all of, you know, so much focus on the behavior and the outer appearance of the woman that it really doesn't. Outside of just telling y'all not to do it. Don't get nobody pregnant. Don't have sex. Just wait to marriage. That's all they tell y'all to do. They tell us don't do it. You can't be sexual. You can't be sexy. Wear that skirt, cover up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
put this over your knees.
Yeah, put this over your knees. You know what I'm saying? And like, I know growing up, I developed. You know what I'm saying? I ain't country. I ain't country, but
Southern.
Really,
I'm Southern. You know, and so I had a little shape on me, and then I was in dance ministry. You know, in dance ministry, they had you drape from your head to your feet.
I said they had you drop.
But had you drape from your head to your toes, and it's like the older I got, it was like, bruh, niggas still be licking. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't even dealing with God. Like, if you're gonna press this purity culture, you're gonna have to teach men not to objectify women.
Yeah.
That this is God's creation as well. This is your sister in Christ. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna have to teach him something too. And it puts a lot of stress and on the female. I knew growing up, I hated my body because it's like it's getting all of this negative attention. You know what I'm saying? Like,
women.
You know, from women. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you gotta think about that too. Like, you know, I used to you know, the little camisole, you know, when we was growing up, them little low rider jeans.
Oh yeah.
That was in fashion, you know, and so in style. And so I had to have 50 million different shirts to drop below a certain thing. And I'm not saying you just be out in the world showing your goodies. That's not what I'm saying. But it be stuff like, I hate it. I'm 30 something years old now, and I'm realizing I have some sensory issues. Certain stuff just throws me off. I hated stockings. They made me itch. Like, I could not.
We all
need
stop.
I hated stockings. I hated stockings. And I would legit get in trouble for bare legs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's little stuff like that, and I don't think nobody looks at it. So even with my girls, sex education starts with just giving them the proper names for stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my baby turned 10 years old this week. It's conversations I'm gonna have to start like having with her, you know, so that there's no shame around it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, you've been taught your whole life, like, don't do it. That's nasty. And the moment I say I do, I'm supposed to turn that on. You unjack my head up so bad. You know, I'm a nervous wreck when it's time to get down, you know, get down to it. You know what I'm saying? And so, I don't know.
I'm with you. Because I think part of it too, like you're saying, that's teaching the whole thing about purity, but also what's naturally attraction. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not wrong because I think this lady is attractive. Like I'm trying to understand, like, why I mean, my expression of, we can work on that. You know what I'm saying? At 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever the case may be, we can work on that. But don't act like I'm wrong because I'm looking at such and such and she's beautiful and she's fine and she's curvy, whatever the case may be. I'm like, bro, you know it like I know it. You know what I'm saying?
You see that donkey?
You see it?
But you know, it's crazy as though that, you know, as to Tony's point, when you're a young boy, it's encouraged that you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, oh, there you go. That boy like that thing,
yet?
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you ain't got nothing yet, because obviously to steer people away from being gay or whatever. So a lot of times you get caught up in these situations to where, like, even as a young boy, you may not even know like what you're feeling or anything like that. And immediately, sometimes it's encroached upon you to even do more, you know what I'm saying, than you're really even willing to, because you're not even at that mental state yet. You just figure like, dang, she like pretty. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then next thing you know, you got that old nasty uncle or cousin or something like that is really like forcing upon you to really start like looking at porn and doing all this stuff. And it's like, man, like even mentally, there's so many people that are messed up in their aspect of things. Like a lot of women, sometimes they wonder why guys always think this way. And it's because when we was 7, 8, 9, we didn't, it was either the little nigga down the street, his brother, you know what I'm saying, your uncle or cousin that introduced you to something way early. Yeah. And because now you've been introduced to this way early, this is what kind of starts to dominate your mind, because you don't even know how to control your mind yet. So I know cats 9 years old lost their virginity. You know what I'm saying? I know a cat right now. He was 9. His dad got 2 women
Yep.
for him at 9 years old.
That is abuse.
So and that's why I was going to get ready to say. It's like it's two different. It's drastically two different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like y'all are told to keep yourself clear, and that we're told to do all of this. Like you said,
And then you want us to come together and be one.
yeah, and come. I'm talking about because all the expectation is, especially I would admit, was addicted to porn. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're looking at this and you're looking at the flips and all the stuff that's going on here.
Then
you get there, you like, what's wrong with you? Why you even doing the flip like old girl was doing the flip? You know what I'm saying?
Camera tricks.
Yeah, like what's going on here? And you wondering why the divorce rate is 50-something% or high. Even as Christians, it's like, it ain't necessary that I don't love the Lord. Mm-hmm. My expectations on both ends of it, like, why you want it so much?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why you don't want it at all?
Yeah.
Type stuff, you know what I'm saying? So,
something I observed even in like I said, when I was a teenager, and me and my husband dated when I was a teenager, and we had a break, but that's neither here or there. We would go to the marriage conferences. I never heard them talk about sex.
Yeah. No.
And that's the crazy part.
That's crazy. Like they never talked about sex. They never talked about intimacy.
It's true.
How some of these sex therapists. Yeah. Like I would think that would be the perfect spot for like a sex therapist, because some dudes and some females too don't even know the anatomy of how the body is made up. Y'all just be in doing stuff.
Doing.
And ain't nobody.
That's what the video told me to do.
Yeah,
it told me to do it this way.
I heard this term on this girl used it on TikTok. It's pretty much assisted masturbation. Ain't nobody getting anything out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? It's not connecting in the way that God created it to be. Mm-hmm. Everything that God created to be, you not even tapping into that, because your mind ain't even there to understand, like, bro, this can go so much deeper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The crazy part is, me and my cousin were talking about this like last week, and we were talking about like our parents and grandparents and the things that they experienced in the Black community, years ago. And come to find out, like, there's been a lot of covering up, a lot of shame and all of that stuff in the Black community from them. Like, I know, and I won't necessarily say this, but we both know family members on each side of our family that have been raped and molested and all of this stuff, and had kids and all of that. And I think, and I mean, as a result of these instances, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that coming up in the church, especially the Black church, is that a lot of these people that are leading these things and teaching these things have experienced these things, and they're not saying it based off of their shame. Mm-hmm. Not saying, and not even because they don't know. I feel like part of it is because they don't know, because there's shame that's attached to it as well. Mm-hmm. So, you don't, it's only now where you hear a lot of people like, yeah, I'm about to give me some, blah, blah, blah. And it just be so extra sometimes when you sit in the church. You're like, dude,
you ain't getting none. That's the problem. Yeah, that's what it is.
Like, dude, you were getting it, you wouldn't be talking about it.
Yeah, right. Like, just let it be, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know you got kids and all that. Like, we get it, you know what I'm saying? But I literally feel like that, especially in our culture, because of the shame and the guilt and all of the things that have been done, we've always been taught. Think about it. We've always been taught to suppress everything that we've been through. Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
Everything. Man ain't supposed to cry. You know what I'm saying? Women ain't supposed to talk about the abuse that they've gone in, the physical abuse or the verbal abuse, and all these different things. We're always taught to suppress. So therefore, at these sex education things at church, these marriage conferences, they talk about, I don't know what they talk about, but I know it's trash. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I ever been.
It's date night. You gotta have a date night. You gotta foreplay. You bring a roses and I'm like, Yeah, but it goes so much deeper than that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want my husband bring me flowers. I already know what this nigga trying to do. You know what I'm saying?
You know what it is.
Drop
You know what it is. You know what it is tonight, right?
Bow chicka bow wow.
You red roses mean.
He rare that he white was me. But yeah, you know, like so. But it was like it's very surface. Very surface.
I'm telling the first person, and this is crazy. This is recent years. Rob, you might know this. Big bro, big sis, Mike and Cunny Smith.
Yeah.
Bro, like the freedom that the way they discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
I have, like you said, one I ain't never heard of.
And the way he write about her,
Bro, I'm talking about it.
he in love.
Yes, sir. And it's a level of freedom, man. That's like when I was at this conference and Connie had said she was like for the first time, and it's crazy now. Again, this is recent, like maybe 2018, 19, something like that. Mm-hmm. Women are sexual beings too.
I remember that.
And I'm like, it just clicked in my head.
Yeah.
I'm almost 40 years old at this point. I'm like,
but their entire
dude,
life
like,
was taught not to
yeah,
be.
like I have sexual. I like it just as much as you like it. Mm-hmm. Even back to my mindset at the young age. They showed you in the video that we like it just as much. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, but when she put it out there, like, I want women to embrace it just as much. Don't try to suppress it. Don't try to act like you don't like sex.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's something great.
Yeah.
But why?
And
So why this is what I've always wanted to like. So they train, you know, us women to be, you know, so prim and proper and all this type of stuff, and then, you know, dudes, this the type of woman you want. But then behind the scenes, they be like, that is not what you want.
Yeah.
you want the Mercedes experience. You do not want, you know, prim and proper and tea parties. That's not what you want.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? And that always threw me, because it's like,
But it's the old
Pastor
saying.
Ludacris said. Go ahead.
You
gonna reference Pastor Ludacris?
Let's see what let's see what the pastor
I want
said.
lady in the
Yeah,
streets and a freak in the bed.
But they
Exactly.
don't never
That's what it is.
Okay. All right.
you know what I'm saying? They don't
We-
it's already difficult when women, when you grow and you mature and you marriage and kids and stuff, it's already difficult to switch between, okay, mommy mode, wife mode. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like if we were properly prepared going into it, that these are just the shifts of life and blah, 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 then it would be easier. We're just really taught to be wives and moms. Nothing for ourselves.
Not sexual beings.
We're not, we just, you know, we only do that to have babies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole. It's just a whole different concept, man. Because
I would love to hear Q's voice on
Yeah.
this right
Man, for real.
Baker, you need to come on back, boy.
Yeah, come on back, Q. Come on back, Q.
ahead,
Because, man, you know, all these years, I know for me, I'll tell y'all this. Like for me, and I wore this as a badge of pride. I literally was celibate from, I want to say, 2001 to when me and Chris got married in 2014.
Dang.
What
My bad, bro.
bad.
I ain't mean that.
Celibate is when you have celibate. And so I wore this as a badge of pride. And then even when I got around some of my brothers or whatever, we would, you know, they would talk to me and they'd be like, man, Rob went a long time. And I'll kind of get, you know, pat on my back or whatever. And
Couldn't be me.
and the thing, to be honest, like, I know why. You know, I know that my whole thing was like, man, you know, I wanted, I love God, and you know what I'm saying, I was focused on ministry and stuff like that. And I'm a big person that doesn't want to feel like I'm a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? I'm a person that, like, if I say I'm living this way, I'm living this way. Like, let me not pull out how I'm living. You know, you're supposed to live this way and doing the total opposite. I'm not that guy. But I had plenty of opportunities in between that 2001 and 20, like, plenty of opportunity.
Yeah.
And my whole thing, like, and the crazy part is, as everybody know, like, me and my wife has had, like, a lot of issues over the last year, which everything is fine, everything is good now. But last year, 2021, literally, I was thinking in my head, I was like, God, why did you have me be celibate all this time to end up here? If this was the case, I should have been smashing everything. You know what I'm saying?
Moving.
But I think it is a benefit to celibacy and not. Because when you get married, there's going to be seasons. If that's something you've never practiced before, you gonna lose your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's a benefit to practicing that your wife may get sick, you know, on both ends. You know what I'm saying? And so what you gonna do, because you can't physically be satisfied, you gonna go and do X, Y, and Z or find other vices and stuff like that. So there's a benefit to saying, you know, I want to train my flesh to, I have control over this. You know what I'm saying? Through the help of the Holy Spirit, I can control myself. You know what I'm saying? So
how about this? Like, so with all the stuff that we, you know, have talked about, like, what should we do? Because clearly this book has led 1.2 million people plus down what I feel is the wrong road. You feel me? That we didn't try to ignore feelings and just all kinds of stuff. And then I think even to I think what Tony was saying before we was recording is that it actually introduces like rape culture and stuff like that. So like, what do we do? How do we approach this thing? Because we know purity culture itself does not work.
I think one of the things you said, Tony, was we gotta talk about sex. We got to talk about it. I mean, you have to talk about it with a balance, because the way that I'm looking at it is we on literally two different ends of the spectrum. The boys we don't deal with purity at all. Pretty much overall, that's even in the church and in the neighborhood. But our women, I got two little girls. You can't see them doing some of the stuff in that video that you watched when you was young. You know what I'm saying? Or whenever. So it's one of those things. We gotta talk about the properly how you deal with sex overall before you. I mean, with God's word in it, but it's like, understand, like I said earlier, like, it's not wrong to be attracted to this girl. It's not wrong to be attracted to this guy. Now, how do we deal with that and talk about sex? That's just one of my ways. But what you?
I mean, I think you have to have the conversation. Everybody having it.
Yeah.
So why be hush? That's how we got here. Like, why? What's the hush about it? So I said, of course, you wouldn't talk about it in the same manner as you would an 18-year-old with the 8-year-old. There's stages to it and build-ups to it or whatever, but you gonna have to talk about it. You know, that this is natural. God created this. It's not dirty. It's not something that should be surrounded by shame. You know, it's a beautiful thing. But with it becomes great responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, it ain't wise. You know, God is not withholding anything from you, but he wants to give this to you in the proper context. Because if you just out there throwing that thing, we ain't just talking about pregnancy. We talking about STDs. We talking about all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? At 35, I'm not as strong of a believer in the soul ties argument. But there is because God gave us that in the context of marriage, expectations come from it.
back up real quick. So for the people that don't know, what is a soul tie?
Okay, so in evangelical church, it is taught that every time you have sex with someone, a piece of your soul, your being, connects with the other person's soul and being. So you walk away after a sexual encounter, you walk away with whatever that person has.
Yeah,
so if that person struggles with depression or whatever, now you got a depression demon attached to you. And then you got whatever the person they slept with, whatever they got, you got it now. And y'all just swapping spirits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
is, but like I said, it's a big concept to grasp, because I do believe in people do sex magic and all that type of stuff. And all of that is true. Okay. But we shouldn't be throwing out soul ties, because when you talked about this, the only time we really see soul ties is when it's talking about David and Jonathan. So what you trying to say?
Gay.
A soul tie can be developed through just intimacy, a person knowing you.
Yeah.
So soul ties are not exclusively just something, when you have sex with somebody. It is you becoming intimate, you allowing a person to really see you.
Now I agree.
And that's a soul tie.
And I agree with that, because the closer that we are, and we become friends, it's certain stuff, certain lingo you may say, I may say. Yeah, we start doing that now. I mean, past is the past, but I mean, there's some people I had sex with, I don't even remember. I don't remember their name. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, man. I had a season of repentance. Yeah. But no. But I'm saying, like, you literally can.
I ain't know.
We did?
Said, yeah.
What? No, we did. Oh. How you doing, though?
You sure it was me?
You sure? Okay.
If you say so, I mean.
I'll ride with it.
Did you like it?
I was trash.
I'm sure.
I was working on it. Practice. My bad, y'all. My bad. But no, man. I mean, so when it comes to the sex part of it, no, I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
But like you said, if the intimacy of it.
Yeah.
The intimacy of it, like just the more I know this person, the more that I can, you know what I'm saying, you do start acting like them.
You know they're saying time and communication lead to fornication. Really? Do it, really? But I was told that. But I don't. My understanding of what a soul tie is different and expanded at this point in my life. It can be a spiritual exchange, most definitely. But as far as my soul,
I'm weird about the spiritual thing. Go ahead.
I mean, but part of it is like, because you're being physically intimate with this person and experiencing this person, then I mean, you have already opened yourself up to this person in a certain
y'all have
way.
Sex all the time and don't have no connection with nobody.
I'm telling you, that's real.
Nobody.
I ain't no
you know what I'm saying? Like, where y'all, I mean, I'm saying y'all, I don't know y'all personally.
I know some girls that just,
you know what I'm saying? Like, have to be taught to connect during that. You know what I'm saying? Be in the moment, connect. Let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that, I'm like I said, it's shifted. Like,
that's true.
And I agree with I agree more with soul ties of the intimacy of, like, that's of just, when I say intimacy, like you said, in a close relationship, proximity of, that's how friends can be that, like, or
closer than a brother.
Yeah, a gang. You go on a gang. You start acting and being that way because these are people that I'm mostly hanging out with.
Yeah.
But you can have sex with this person that ain't care absolutely not, you don't necessarily care, in case y'all actually had the intimacy, the conversations. Yeah, that's the part that you'll see, that you can see that connection. But if it's just a smash and gone, I don't see what that is.
Like I said, assisted masturbation.
Yeah.
You're using that person to get off.
And it was, I had a time.
We gotta have.
I'm married now, man. I'm gone.
We gotta have those conversations. We gotta show. We have to be examples of that. If you know what I'm saying, like, look, I be feeling like the church be real one-sided with a lot of stuff. We ain't just talking about like with sex, but just the setup of marriage and stuff. Like, I hate going to, if a pastor doesn't have like legit experience with psychology and sociology, I don't like going to them for marriage counseling.
Yeah.
Because it's very one-sided, like, well, you just gotta do this, you gotta let a man be a man.
I agree totally, because like even when me and Chris was going through marriage counseling, both of us was like, we don't want no pastor, we don't want no preacher. Now we did go to our pastors and from a spiritual aspect to help us kind of
pastors are mediators.
Find the common ground, mediators, right? But we went to an experienced psychologist that dealt with Black marriage. Like, all of that stuff is important. You can't sit there and just say, oh, I just deal with marriage. No, I deal with Black marriage. And guess what? We got a Black man. Because all of that stuff is purposeful. First of all, you don't want to have someone that does not relate to you. You know what I mean? I can go, and not to say that a white man doesn't relate or a white woman doesn't relate, but there's cultural differences and experiences that we need to address, that if I put that out there, you ain't gonna know how to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Even from the standpoint of us even possibly going to a Black woman as a therapist, there were some things that maybe she couldn't experience or didn't understand, but yet I wanted a Black man personally, because I wanted somebody, number one, because I feel like Black men tend to be able to check each other and be like, hey, bruh, no. You know what I'm saying? And I would be able to listen, and he would also be able to understand and listen to my wife. So, like, even if we had a Black woman, I think it would have been better. But definitely, all of that stuff has to be in line. You just can't just, well, I'm just going to my pastor and that's it. Man, come on, like, nah, because I've heard that before.
Oh yeah,
I've heard that plenty of times before. People going to that.
It's been very few. We had some really, in the beginning of our marriage, some really good pastoral counseling, as far as stressing the fact that marriage is pretty much a lifetime of you trying to outserve the other. That was the most balanced perspective I ever got. Everything else, it was like, Tony, what you doing? I'm like, okay, like, this is heavy. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, where I felt like it was like excusing the, my husband's behavior, or trying to be very sympathetic towards him, but not with me. It was this expectation to show up anyway, carry it well. You know what I'm saying? And so,
but men have it as well. I mean, I know your experience was probably female driven that way, but the men have it as well. Like, if my wife is going through anything or lacking, it's looked at the man.
Oh yeah.
The household missing anything.
Oh yeah.
It ain't the wife's fault.
Yeah.
No, it's you, bro. Hey, I understand you working 20 hours out of the day. You still got 4 on.
Yeah.
Figure out how you going. I don't care about the sleep. You know what I'm saying? Figure out how you gonna do this for your family. Or you know what I'm saying? So and I agree with you on your side too. But it's like on the man's side too. It's like, bro, like, good gracious, bro, you everything.
We have to really go into teaching people how to just appreciate how God naturally created.
Yeah.
Like, God thought this thing out. You know what I'm saying? Like, what my husband contributes to our marriage and our family dynamic is no greater or no less than what I contribute to our marriage and our family situation. It has to be an appreciation, because then people start feeling like, oh, I'm not appreciated, I'm taken advantage of, and I'm doing this and blah, blah, blah. And then you start keeping tallies or, of stuff. But we gotta lay it out. We gotta talk it out. We have to be honest about certain stuff with our kids. Answer it honestly when you're talking about sex and all that type of stuff, proper terms and we got to break it down. Because if we don't, somebody else is.
You don't want that.
And you don't want that. And I'm not saying you be the one to tell them to give them misinformation. You know what I'm saying? But you be the source of truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You be the source of truth. Because, like I said, them folks on the videos, they be lying. I remember Aunt said, this was like a real moment he had in one of the marriage meetings. He was like, man, you watch them porns? And they be all in the bathtub in the shower. That ain't comfortable. That ain't comfortable. They lying to you.
You slip,
Stop
you want
watching
to.
that porn. They lying to you.
That porn will have you messed up
Yeah,
in
you
the head,
jacked
Tell
up,
you, man.
you know.
Yeah, you messed
That's
up in the
up,
head.
bro.
Be like, how that man last 3 hours? They take breaks and cuts
Bruh.
and put this stuff together, man.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
Gotta keep
That's
it.
the idea. That's the ideology that we have. So.
Yeah, it is. Well, all right, folks. What we gonna do is we gonna bring this thing to a close. It was good having another podcast. Hopefully, we can get the rest of the crew back on.
Yeah,
Yep.
might have to do a part 2 on this one.
Might have to.
I got it here.
I got to hear.
Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to hear this boy.
Well, what we
Can I keep it real?
that would be dope. All right, cool, folks.
Yeah,
Well,
bro.
we will see y'all on another episode of Unlearning Religion. We'll see y'all later.
Yeah.